happy Friday, friends. I realized that I left something in the description that I didn't mean to, and so I want to let you know up front that my brain is kind of mush today. I've been sitting in on conference discussions all day, and my brain is kind of fried, and I was kind of having a crap day anyway, so I goofed. But I appreciate the Violet the answer to my question about what you do for your dog's day. Dizzy did end up having a really fun birthday, and there's a video of that on YouTube if you want to see it. But today, I wanted to talk about a few questions that I get all the time, and I will share my thoughts, and I also have some questions for you. So, the questions that I want to address are, when can I start training? How long will it take to train blank? And finally, when will he be fully trained? Or alternatively, is he fully trained? These are all questions that I have some thoughts about, so I thought we would discuss it. But first I wanted to ask you, so first of all, do you have any guesses? Like when would you like to start training? If you just got a new dog, when do you think would be the best time? I mean, there's no right answer. I have an opinion, but there's no right or wrong answer. And then as far as when will he be trained, or is this dog fully trained? That phrase. What does that look like for you? You know, like what is a fully trained dog? If you've ever asked that question, what does it mean to you? That's what I would like to know. Because in my experience, what I've seen is, oh, hey, April, hi! Immediately, that's when you would start. Yep, that would be what I would do also. So, yeah. And April, I saw that you just got another dog. Didn't you just get a puppy, like, last year? I might be wrong about that timeline, but it seems like you've gotten a couple of puppies pretty close together. Which I guess I can't say anything because I got Dizzy, and then a year later we're getting another puppy, so what can I say? Hi, Jason, welcome. And oh, April says, hi, come train my pups. You know what? I would love to. I have only been doing virtual consulting, not really, almost no hands-on dog training except my own dog since March, so I would love to come train your puppies. I have 10 months old and 8 weeks old. Yeah, that's really close together. Holy moly. And forgive me if I'm mistaken, but you've got the 10 months old is the German Shepherd and 8 weeks old is a Beagle. I mean, that's really exciting. Like, having puppies is always really fun, but it's hard work too, I bet. So yes, but your answer would be the same as my answer to that first question. When can I start training, or when should I start training? As early as possible would be my best answer. And the reason I say that is because, oh, Yo-Chan, what? Is that a mix or is that a breed? You might have to spell that one out for me. Like I said, my brain is mush today, so yeah, that one's right there. So anyway, yes. So yeah, if you think about, like, when can I start training? I mean, first of all, your animal is learning every second of the day. Whether you're there or not, whether you are actively participating in teaching them or not, your animal is learning. Whether or not it's a formal training session or not, they're learning every moment of the day. And, oh, Yorkie, oh, wait a minute. Why did I think you have a shepherd? Yorkie and Bichon. Why, I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, that's a lot smaller than a shepherd. That's a totally, completely different dog. Anyway, yeah, so, but whatever you've got, whatever kind of dogs you've got, they're learning every second of every day. And so I think that the best idea to get ahead of any potential behavior problems, or just to get a head start on teaching them what you'd like them to know, the best thing to do would be to start as early as as you've got your hands on that dog. From the moment that you meet them, even, is the best time. And better yet, you know, people get dogs from all sorts of different sources, but if you have a relationship with whoever you're getting your dog from, if you go to a breeder or you're in contact with a shelter, a lot of these sources, we'll call them, they may have a training program or a socialization program, and if they're doing stuff, the best time for a dog to start learning is like when they're 2 or 3 weeks old. That's like the very best time, right? So hopefully they've been getting some education, and it doesn't always, we're not all that lucky. The dogs are not all that lucky, but I just wanted to kind of go back down that timeline to kind of emphasize how they're learning from the moment they're born, actually prior to that even, but we only have so much control, right? So, but they are learning every moment of their lives, and their experiences day to day are going to shift their behavior depending on, which behaviors have been reinforced and which have been punished. And of course, we don't recommend punishment as an actual training protocol, but it happens in life regardless. Like I said, whether we're participating or not, some of their behaviors are going to work and some of them aren't, and so their experiences are going to shift what behaviors are more likely in the future. And that's what training is, that's what learning is. And so the earlier we get some control over that, the more we will be able to shift their behavior to kind of where we want it to be. So in answer to the question, when should I start? My opinion is early as possible. When can I start? As soon as you get your dog. Let me get to this. I used to have a shepherd. Oh, she went to be a service dog. Interesting. I will have to catch up with you about that. But that's really cool. Service animals we owe them, right? Jason says, I saw a UFO. He is, what? Spread beagle. I don't understanding this sentence, and I don't understand if it's just my brain mush that I'm like can't interpret. But please forgive me, guys. Today I am. Ooh, it's not good. Karen McNabb, hi from Virginia. David said that you have a video, so I thought I would come over to your channel. I met David from Morning Invest. Yes. Well, hi and welcome, Karen. Yeah, today we're just talking about the best times to start training and the timelines. We'll kind of put it under the umbrella of timelines. Karen, I see your picture is a dog, so I'm assuming you've got at least one. Tell us about your dog. Name, breed, age, or multiples of those. If you got more than one dog, we'd love to hear about who you're living with at home. Yes, so let's move on. Next question. How long will XYZ training take? Now, sometimes these are all questions that I've been asked repeatedly, which is why I kind of wanted to speak to them today. And they come in different forms. So sometimes I just get the question like, how long will it take to train him? And sometimes, it'll be more specific. How long will it take to train him not to pull on leash? Whether you're speaking broadly or more specifically, that answer is, it depends. And I know that's always an annoying answer to get, but if you think about it, it's a little bit like asking like a student in school, how long will it take him to learn piano? And depending on the child, some of them may pick it up super quick, child prodigy and all, and some of them may really have to work at it. And beyond that even, say that child sticks with piano, right? Like, and grows into an adult who is a professional pianist, like, when does that person stop learning piano? Like, is there a point where they're like, I'm done, I know piano, I will learn no more? No, of course not. Like, learning is a lifelong journey. I mean, and I was using a specific example there, but like, say we talk about the more general question, like, when will he be done training, or when will he be done learning? And like, have you ever gotten, like, I don't know how old you guys are, but Have you ever gotten to a point in your life where you're like, I have learned enough, I don't need to learn anymore? Like, nobody does that. And that's, it really is the same with our dogs. I think that the question that people really are asking, if they're asking that, is like, how long do I have to put up with the crazy adolescent or puppy antics before I can relax? I feel like that's maybe closer to the real question that they're asking. And if that's it, then, the question or the answer is still, it depends. It of course depends on the individual dog, and it depends on how much time you devote to teaching them, and how much effort you put into managing their behavior when you're not teaching them. There's a lot of factors that go into that. We can kind of give a more general timeline when you're talking about a young dog. We know that, puppies go through, developmental phases, and then they go through adolescence, and then they become adults. And usually many dogs will start to mellow out somewhere between 1.5 to 3 years old on average. But that's not true of every dog. And of course, it's also going to depend on the training that you do. So it's really hard to give an answer about like how long will training take, and that's whether you're talking about when am I going to be happy with this dog's behavior, or how long will it take him to learn this specific behavior. It totally depends. Hi, Jessie, and welcome. And I want to learn about Karen's dogs here. Karen, you have four dogs. Holy moly. I feel like everybody who watches my videos so far has like 4 dogs. Some, or at least multiples. Oh my goodness. A Jack Russell, a Pug, a Lab, and a Doberman. She is my Jack Russell. Oh, the one in the picture. And she will be 8 on May 8th. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you for sharing your little doggy family, Karen. What's interesting about your little household is I feel like a lot of people, if they have any like purebred dogs, they tend to like, after the first one, they stick with that one, and so they've got 4 pugs or 4 labs. But you've got a nice variety there. That's cool. And you said for a treat, she will stand on her back legs and spin around in circles. Oh, what's her name? Actually, what are all their names? I love hearing what people name their dogs, and I'm still trying to come up with ideas. We've only got one name that we've agreed on for the Pom puppy. So if anyone has any suggestions, I'm still open to brainstorm mode. So yeah. But we have one more question to get to. And if you guys have questions, do let me know. I'm here to answer them. But we've kind of touched on it a little bit. So when will he be fully trained? I really would love to know, like, I'm only guessing, so I'd love to know, like, what's your idea, or what's your ideal fully trained dog act like, because I do this for a living and I enjoy training, I probably do a lot more than would ever be truly necessary. And yet, like Dizzy sometimes can look like a very well-trained boy on videos, but he has his moments too, and he's got his issues, and those are ones that we'll be working on probably for years to come. And so, like he can be very impressive. He knows a great many tricks, but he still gets excited and jumps on people when they come to the house, or, he still struggles to be left alone if I leave the house, which is hard. Separation anxiety is hard. We're going to talk about that soon. But yeah, and he still has he still barks and lunges sometimes when he sees other dogs when he's on leash, like, what's fully trained? But yeah, absolutely. I think it really comes down to, like, what do you want your dog to know, or how would you like them to be able to act? And then as far as when will he be? how much time and effort do you have to devote to this? Because it's a lot of work, and I don't mean that to deter anybody. Like I said, like, I love this. I think this stuff is fascinating and fun, and I would train all day every day. But like, not everybody finds it that inherently reinforcing. So I don't want to like deter anybody. Like, train your dogs, but yeah, the more time you have to devote, the more you can get your household members on board with the training, the faster things will go. Certainly, it's a lot harder when household members, you're not in agreement on how to proceed training different things. So yeah, like I said, tons of factors influence how fast a dog will learn, and then where the goalposts are. That part is up to you, But I mean, training, using positive reinforcement is not only a lot more fun for us, but it's really enjoyable for the dogs. And so, beyond what a dog needs to know, set by you, beyond what you've defined as the need to know training, if you do extra stuff for fun, it's going to provide mental enrichment, probably even physical enrichment for the dog, which is going to make, it's going to be better welfare, provide better welfare for them. Quality of life. That was the phrase I was trying to think of. So if you train, even if it's just for fun, your dog's going to be better off. And having getting that mental workout also creates a more tired dog just as easily as taking them for a hike or to the dog park. Training can wear them out because brains, just like ours, our brains use more energy than any other part of our body. Our brains are calorie hungry, and the more we have to think and process and use, like, our brains are, they do a lot more than just think, but thinking requires a lot of effort, and that is why if a long day of work, is exhausting. Even if you've just sat in a chair all day, you can be exhausted by that. And the dogs going through training is kind of their mental workout. Same thing. They can be exhausted after that. And that's kind of what we all want, is a dog who's exhausted. But it doesn't always have to be physical, and it can't always be physical either. Like, when you've got a puppy, you can't just tire them out physically, because their bones are still growing, their growth plates have not closed yet, and they can be more prone to injury if they are over-exercised. So providing a puppy more mental enrichment to balance out is a lot better for them. And it could be an older dog who has some physical limitations, or a dog who maybe just had a surgery, or has been injured, and you still want to provide that mental enrichment. Their brains are still like, go, 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 but their bodies are like, or we are the ones restricting them, There's plenty of times in a dog's life when they can't go out and do all the physical exercise that we would normally provide for them. So in those instances, if you're just ready to, like, okay, mental enrichment, here we go, via training or food puzzles, if you don't have the time to train, those can be really, really great ways to provide what your dog needs for the day, without having to use the physical exercise. Jason, hi, howdy's from Tennessee. Is Tish here today? Karen says, when we lost Belle in September, my husband and I cried for days over her. We had her for 13 years, and Star is going on 13 years. Jackson for 10 and Candy for 8. Wow. First of all, I love their names. Second of all, I'm so sorry to hear about Belle. I mean, I can't even think about the day I'm going to lose Dizzy. Like, I've heard that losing a pet or dog can be just as just as hard on us, and we can grieve just as much for a pet as we can for a human. And so I know that's hard, so I'm so sorry. It's always hard. It's almost a curse that dogs don't live as long as us, but we're grateful for them anyway. Yeah. um, so yeah, I kind of went off on a little tangent there. And my brain is still mush, so I'm probably not going to stay on here for too long today, unless you guys have any more questions I can answer, anything else you'd like to share with us. But yeah, Tish isn't having a good day, so she is resting. Well, give her my best. I am also having a crap day, so we're in this together. Bug Baby 9, Karen Decker, do you know much about Shih Tzus? Like what specifically? Are we talking about training? Are we talking about yeah. I mean, yeah, like we'd have to get more specific. I know Shih Tzus are lovely dogs, usually very, very friendly, fun to train. I see 2 in the picture here, so looks like you've got a couple. And Karen says, when I had Candy fixed, I cried when they took her back, but when I got her home, my husband cooked her a scrambled egg and hand fed her. Oh, that, you know what? Anytime we have to take our dogs and do something that's maybe unpleasant for them, it's always a really, really good idea to do something fabulous for them afterwards. A cooked scrambled egg is a really lovely, lovely treat. Jason says everyone has 4 dogs with me. Isn't that funny? Like, I was just saying, like, everybody seems to have like 4+ dogs. Poor Jason. I've only got 3. Hey, I've only got 1, so there's that. Oh, about grooming. Well, I will tell you this. I can't answer like how to like questions you would ask a groomer maybe. But I am finding that I'm finding it, maybe it should be a specialty of mine, because I really, really like working on grooming, handling veterinary care, like anything under the umbrella of cooperative care behaviors. So if you're asking about how to train to get a dog comfortable with grooming, we can definitely talk about that. But as far as like, yeah, like certain cuts and things, definitely that is out of my realm of expertise. But I have been watching a lot of Pomeranian grooming videos, because I'd love to be able to do that sort of thing with our new gal, with our new gal at home. So I've been watching grooming videos about that, but as far as like cuts and all, yeah, no, I don't. They are touchy around their face. Yeah, so that's common. It's actually really common to have for any dog to be uncomfortable with many different aspects of grooming and care that we have to do. You know, we've been talking a lot about nail trims, trimming coats, wiping eyes, cleaning ears, all that stuff like that. And so yeah, you can definitely get them more comfortable with it. And I think because it's actually, you said you rescued 2. Oh, Shih Tzu and Yorkie, and they're 9 and 11. So they're up there. They probably have had, you know, a lifetime of experiences with maybe having their eyes wiped, maybe having their face trimmed, and things that they're a little uncomfortable with. Do you do the grooming yourself, or do you take them to a professional groomer? Because if you're taking them to a professional groomer, it would be ideal if your groomer is one who is on board with, who perhaps even is fear-free certified. You can look that up. I just got fear-free certified myself, but they have a grooming specific one, and it basically teaches dog professionals in various fields, like how how to get the animal comfortable, how to keep them comfortable, how to avoid creating negative experiences. So if you can find a professional who has that kind of certification, that's a step in the right direction. At least one who is willing to be patient and isn't just like, okay, snip, snip, get it done, regardless of how the animal feels about it. Because that's what it really comes down to, is how do they feel about the process. And what the training is really gradually getting them more and more comfortable with the different things that we have to do. So with I'll use okay, you are talking about trimming them. So yeah, I mean, without going into too much detail, because it's a process. But what it basically looks like is stopping everything that they're uncomfortable with. So if you try to do something or pull something out like the scissors, and they immediately go running, we have to start even before that. We have to find the place where the dogs are, where they are comfortable, and then what we're going to do is gradually pair the version of that they're comfortable with something nice, repeatedly, like a million bazillion times, and as they get more and more comfortable, you start to make it bigger. So in terms of trimming, first we have to get them comfortable with the handling that has to be done. So where is your hand placement as you're trimming them? Is one hand kind of bracing them or restraining them? We have to get them comfortable with restraint. We have to get them comfortable with seeing the scissors, with hearing the scissors, the sound that's involved, with the scissors approaching them, with the scissors actually like touching their fur. Like, we have to kind of break it down really finely into very small incremental pieces. And the other biggest piece when we're going through this type of training is that the dog always has a choice. So I'm never gonna ask the dog to be okay with something that they're not. They always have the choice to walk away if they want, and I'm gonna be watching their body language closely to make sure that if they flinch, if they pull back, if they turn with their head away, if they maybe even like do snarl or growl, like the smallest sign of discomfort, I'm gonna be like, okay, we stop. They always have the choice, because what happens, and this is really, really cool, is, oh, hey, Jason swapped over to YouTube. What happens is, if we do it gradually enough and the animal realizes that we're never going to push them past their comfort level, that essentially that they realize they have the choice to say no, they become more relaxed and therefore more likely to say yes to the process. And it's very cool to see a dog who I mean, that transformation is pretty cool. Like, to take a dog who's like unwilling, hates the whole process, and when it's what it really comes down to is our patience, which is like, sometimes that's bad news, because I'm kind of an impatient person, and I still find myself like, even this morning, Dizzy and I were working on paw handling stuff, and we're at the place where I want to be able to pick up Dizzy's paw and kind of squeeze and separate his toes, and for him to let me sort of squeeze each nail. I break down each of those little sensations, and he's still a little flinchy, because I have to catch myself when I'm pushing too fast, because this training with that goal in mind, we have to go at the dog's pace. We can never push it as fast as we humans want to go, which, it's hard, but when we do it, it's so cool. And once you get over that initial hump and you're starting to see like that they're making progress, and the light at the end of the tunnel, you're going to feel so good. You're going to feel like relieved that the dog's okay with it, excited because you actually get to do this without stressing out your dog. I can't tell you guys how good that feels. And it's why I want to teach people more about this, because It's fun. And plus, like I did a session like that live last week, and people were like, this looks like the most well-behaved dog ever. And I'm like, well, he was just laying on this yoga mat back here because he opted in to the training, because he knew if I ever pushed him to the point where he was uncomfortable and he let me know, I would stop. Very cool. Jason says, my modem on my computer is slow, needs to be fixed, so I'm on my phone. Oh, well, good luck. Karen, oh, I think I gotta go back a little bit. Let's see. Wait, Jason, you have 7. Oh my gosh. Did I get confused? See, okay, sorry guys. I'm just gonna blame the mushy brain for every mistake I make today. Okay, Bug Baby 9, Karen Decker. I guess more on keeping them calm when I trim them. Yeah, I mean, that's really what the process looks like. It's bad news, there's no quick fixes when it comes to that unless you sedate them, which you'd have to talk to your vet about. I'm not a vet. I'm just a lowly trainer. But yeah, speaking strictly behavioral intervention, it's a long process. And yeah. So and it's good. It's like I talk about this a lot. Like I love one of the reasons that I love dog training and I love the journey that I've been on since I started learning how to train is that every step of the way I learn more and more. That kind of it's really eye-opening. I'm like, okay, I have to practice patience. This is going to make me a better person. Okay, I have to practice better self-awareness. It's going to make me a better person. Okay, I have to practice being really sensitive to others' feelings, making me a better person. Like every step of the way, I'm like, this is making me a better human to humans. Yeah, so it's hard. It's like therapy because like, and I'm admitting like I probably should be in therapy, but I'm not yet. But I understand that therapy like is hard for people. Like it's good for you, but it's hard. It's an emotional process. And that's what learning about dog training has been for me too. It's like it takes practice and it is difficult practice and it is emotional, but like I know it's good for me. So that's kind of where I fall. Which is not like I think it's normally not like how you hear dog training spoken of, which is why it's still 5, 6, I don't know how many years I'm into this now, but years later I'm still kind of just like, wow, like it's just kind of it's a strange new world, but it's fun. It's really cool. Jason, oh, I should have caught that comment sooner. You said wow, and I'm not sure what it was about, but let's see. Oh, okay. When I first rescued them, someone near me groomed them for free. For free? I can keep them trimmed everywhere else myself. Yeah, that's cool that you can do it yourself. Faces, yeah. I mean, and it makes sense too, right? Like, faces and paws are usually the hardest, and it's because, I mean, just trying to empathize. I might be anthropomorphizing a bit, but just from an empathetic standpoint, like you can imagine like anything coming at your face, especially if you don't understand what's happening, if you're a dog, stuff coming at your face like is gonna be harder than anywhere else on your body. Faces are sensitive, and paws are also going to be pretty difficult too, because again they're sensitive. They have more higher concentration of touch neurons. Touch, mushy brain. Sorry, guys. But their paw pads are more sensitive than other parts of their body, kind of like our hands are. And so that's one reason that paws are more difficult usually with trimming and stuff. Another reason is that, because our dogs walk on 4 legs and their legs are their mode of escape if anything did go wrong. If we're hanging onto a leg, we've taken out their escape route. So for that reason, a lot of dogs struggle with feet and legs too, as well as faces. Let's see. Karen says, I trim Jackson and he will just lay there like a rug. That's the dog, you want to be able to, I mean, that's the goal, right? That's the dream. I'm like, one day we'll get there with Dizzy. He'll lay there, but I can tell he's a little tense, and so I need to back off. Karen says the one thing that he doesn't like is someone being in his face. Yeah, so exactly what we've been speaking to. Except for us, then he could care less. That's another really good point, Karen. That like who the person is, and what their relationship to the dog is matters a ton. Your dog may trust you fully, but another person might be a totally different scenario. So their threshold for their comfort level might be a lot higher when it comes to you, but lower when it comes to someone else in the household, or a groomer, or who the relationship that the dog has with the person matters tremendously. We totally got off topic, but I love this topic. This is like, I love it. Karen Decker, I found a groomer who will do a full groom, bath, and nails for $35, but she is 2 months booked up. $35. I mean, gosh, rates vary so much depending on the region that you're in. I don't even know what they are in where I live now. But in California, like, I would imagine a full groom is like, I don't know, 150, something like that. Like 35 sounds really, really good. So, but if she's good, and I'm saying she, but he, whoever, if they are kind of, if they're good, if they fit the description that I gave earlier, where they are willing to be patient and not force the animal through a traumatic experience, then they'd be worth a 2-month wait. They really would. Even if they got a little shaggy in the meantime. The one thing for me is like, and especially since you said you're able to kind of take care of the rest of their body, and it's just the face. Yeah, 2 months is not that bad. The one thing that I've been trying to be better about, and I do recommend getting, kind of trying to work on a lot more frequently, like every 2 to 4 weeks, is nails. Because when nails get grown out too long, it affects their gait and their posture and how they move and their balance, and that can lead to other physical issues, especially if they're getting older. So nails that's like one thing that I'm like, I don't know, I get kind of preachy about, but but also just, I don't know, like nice nails are nice. So yeah, so anyway, and I think I would love to teach a scratchboard class, if anybody would be interested in that, because there's a number of ways that you can get a dog's nails shortened. You can use clippers, you can use a Dremel, you can use a scratchboard, you can file them, and there's pros and cons to each of those. But when you just need to kind of get it done quick and stress-free for the dog, scratchboards are really, really cool. So that's kind of what I have been doing. That's how I've been keeping Dizzy's nails short while I train him to be comfortable with the other ones, the clippers, the file, and the Dremel. So yeah, but I will say this, like, getting the need to just get a procedure done, especially like if it's a veterinary thing, talk to the vet about how necessary is it that is done right now, because if it's not, and you can put it off while you train the dog up to be more comfortable with it, I think it's always better to protect the dog's emotions and make sure that they don't have a really bad experience with it. Because if you just rush them through the process, get the nail trim done or get whatever done just because you have to this time, it's gonna make the next time harder. And then the next time harder. And then the harder it is for you to do it, the more you're going to want to put it off. And then if you put it off, you're going to feel like, oh, I got to get it done now, finally, when you get, like you're going to hit a point where it's like, this has to be done right away. And then the cycle repeats. And each time the dog goes through that, the harder it's going to be for them. And then for you, it's just this vicious cycle. So if you want to stop the cycle, if you want to get a dog comfortable with something, with some aspect of grooming or vet care, commit now to this a new day, a new process, and if that means putting something off while you get him comfortable, then that's what it means. Let me catch up here, guys. So okay, Karen was saying, after I trim him, he knows that it is treat time. Yes, always with the treats, after, always in that order. If you have to do something, make treats and fun stuff come after it. Candy will let me file her nails. That is fabulous. I think it's fun too. It's like it's a nice little bonding experience when the dog is comfortable with stuff like grooming and stuff. They can start to enjoy it and love it, and then it just becomes like this enjoyable thing that you get to do with your dog. Especially when they get older and you may not be doing like all of the dog park stuff that you did when they were puppies, or adolescents rather. I wouldn't take a young puppy to a dog park. I don't recommend that. I don't know why I said that. I had one about 40 years ago, started her as a puppy and could use scissors with no problem. Yeah. When you teach them as puppies, it's a lot easier, so much easier. And that's part of socialization. I talk about socialization a lot. And yeah, just to let people know that socialization it doesn't mean that they should just meet a bunch of people and dogs. That's not what socialization is. Socialization is really gradually exposing a puppy to a variety of stimuli that they are going to have to encounter and be comfortable with as an adult dog in our modern world. So yes, absolutely, introducing a puppy to these grooming implements early and gradually and positively goes a long way. So anybody who has a young dog or a new puppy, start today. Karen Decker, that info is helpful. Try a little bit at a time. Yes, you're very welcome. I mean, that's what I'm here for. And like I said, I acknowledge this is hard. The patience part is hard, at least for me. Maybe it'll be easier for you. but yeah. Karen says, I can't wait to see your new fur baby. I can't either. I'm a little, yeah. I'm ambivalent. I'm like so excited, but I'm also like, I'm going to screw this up. I'm having all the self-doubts, all the new puppy owner self-doubts that everybody has. Oh, you were saying wow to the fact that the other Jason has 7 dogs. I know, that is a lot of dogs. Most places are 75 and up. Okay, well then yeah, 35 is a good deal for grooming, for a full groom if the going rate is 75. So nice when you find a good deal like that. Sometimes like the best ones, for whatever reason, underprice themselves, and so you should appreciate those people. Tip well. Karen says the lady, one of your rescues? The lady that had him in her laundry room, and here he runs through the house. The lady that had him came by to see him, and he wasn't happy. Oh, well, I guess that shows you he's happier with his new situation. That's gotta feel good, right? And Karen Decker says they get a free nail trim at their vet visits. Yeah. That's nice that the vet provides that. Hopefully, what I was I'm explaining about the whole fear-free thing. That's a certification. Fear-free Happy Homes is the site that you guys would go to if you want to check it out. Yeah, you can find fear-free vets. You can find fear-free groomers, fear-free trainers. I think even fear-free sitters now. They're constantly adding more, and it's such a wonderful thing for dogs now. Name your dog Chimichanga. I like that. I remember, you know what? This is going to be a totally random, random topic, but we used to go, when I was a kid, we went to this Mexican restaurant near our house, and I always wanted to get the chimichanga, and I don't know if it was because I actually liked it or if I just loved the word. That's a good word. Well, think about it. You know what? That's gonna, maybe that's top 10, I would say. Chimichanga. Thank you for the puppy name suggestions, and keep them coming. We've got until Sunday or Monday. Well, I mean, I guess you don't have to have a name from day one, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. So yeah, we'll keep the puppy name brainstorm going. And yeah, I could talk all day about the fear-free stuff, guys. It's like it's really cool, and I want more owners, dog owners, to know that it exists, because if it's something that you want for your dogs, you'll be able. It's a great way. They have a search option, search for whatever professional you need, groomer, vet, trainer, sitter, all that. You can find people in your area who have that certification, which means that your dogs are going to be having a better experience with whatever service it is. So I want more people to know that it exists. So now you know, and you can tell people. I will put the link in the comments or the description, the fearfreehappyhomes.com, I believe it is. But it's such a good resource, you know, and it's gaining traction, and it is like, yeah, I don't know. I was very impressed as I was going through the certification, you know, for trainers who, like, they've gotten a foundational education for training, and then they want more certification. It's a really good reminder of all these procedures and training protocols, and how best that we can help pet owners and pets, and even work with vets. It's so wonderful. I could just talk all day about it. Karen says, well, Candy's name was Hershey, and she wouldn't listen to me, so I changed it to Candy, and she liked it. Oh, you know what? I guess they're both good names. I like Candy better, though. I'm with you. And I've had people ask that too, like, is it okay to change a dog's name? And frankly, I think yes, absolutely, it's totally fine. If you're gonna change it, I think the best time to change it would be like when they come to you, which I think is pretty normal. But I've had people who, you know, they kept the name that came with from the shelter or wherever, which is also fine if you like it. But if you're keeping a name because you feel like you can't change it, even though you didn't really like it, don't even worry about that. It's totally fine. In fact, you know, while the dog is having a lot of huge life changes, and names, while special, and we should treat them with respect. That's a topic for another day. But you know, a name is special to the dog. It doesn't have quite the same. And this is kind of a guess and an opinion, but I think that names to dogs, it's a cue, it's a sound, it's a cue, it's a word. It doesn't have quite the same attachment to them that we do to our names. You know, she didn't look like a candy bar. You know what's funny is I lived in Chicago at one time, and my closest group of friends that I know in Chicago started calling me Candy Bar. That was my nickname. It still is to this day. There was there have even been some times when I've been like on a Zoom call with that group of friends, and someone will call me Jennifer, and someone else will be like, "Who's Jennifer?" Like they know me that well as Candy Bar. That was my nickname. So but only with that group of friends. It's funny. And I think it was because they thought that my last name, Malloway, sounded like a cross between like Mallomar and Milky Way. So it just became Candy Bar. Silly. Nicknames are silly. Speaking of nicknames, we all have nicknames for our dogs. What do you you're giving me their real names, but do we have like silly nicknames that we call the dogs? I call Dizzy Boogie and Boozy and Dude a lot. I'm sure there's more, but those are the most common ones. But Baby Nine, Karen Decker says their names are She and Sue. Are you for real? That's funny. That's cute. That's cute. Yeah, I love people get so creative with dog names. One of my dear friends has shared her vast list of potential dog names. She keeps a running list because she works at a shelter and like gets to name shelter dogs all the time, and she gets so creative. It's really fun to see what she comes up with. But yes. Anyway, guys, Karen says, oh yes, there are too many nicknames to list. Yeah, I call them pretty girls. Oh, and they are, I'm sure. Dizzy's not in here, so I can say it. I always want to call him handsome, but I made the mistake. I now think it's a mistake of I trained his recall cue to be, "Hey, handsome," and so now if I say that word, I have to be prepared to reward it with some high value rewards. Otherwise, I'm going to ruin my recall. So now I tell him he's pretty instead of handsome because I did that. Oops. You gotta put some thought into your cues, guys, because stuff like that can happen. I had a cat named Bulldog. That's another one of my favorites. I love like when dogs are named like other species. Like one of my favorite names for a dog ever is Fish. Dizzy had a pal at the dog park when he was younger named Fish, and I love that name. That's kind of like the cat named Bulldog is kind of like. Have you guys seen that Pixar short called Kit Bull? It's about this little kitten and a pit bull, and it's a really good one. It's a really good short if you like emotional stuff that's gonna make you cry, which I do. But it's a good one. It's so touching. Okay, guys. My mushy brain is ready to go, like, turn off or something. So, thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you next week. Always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave me a comment on wherever, and I'll get back to you. Suggestions for future streams, perhaps. And if you want to hear more, if you'd like to support me to keep doing this, of course, it helps if you subscribe to the channel, like the videos, share them with people who might also enjoy them. And I just recently got a buy me a coffee link. If you are feeling absolutely generous, I kind of feel bad asking or throwing that in there today because of my mushy brain. I feel like I'm not bringing you the value you deserve. But if you feel like it, it's in the description. I'll leave it there. So yeah, again, thank you guys for joining me. It means so much. And I really, really, really like getting to know about your dogs and cats, I suppose. Oh, Oreo, Twice, Snickers, and Double Stuff. Oh, awesome names. I love it. Keep them coming. And I will see you. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week. All right. Mwah.